quaint mom-and-pop establishment. I was a third-shift manager. I prided myself on keeping the peace. At least that was what I told myself. That was until the fateful Valentine's weekend of 1979. At the small hotel sat nestled on the outskirts of town. It was a slow night, save for the occasional couple checking in for a romp. The overhead lights were humming in my ears and the heater was clanking away in the lobby. The clock ticked like it was going backwards. There had been an Aerosmith concert earlier in the night, so there was some light action from that, but nothing else. The door swung open, and in walked a man in bell-bottoms, suave and smooth-talking, a charming grin painted over his face. He checked in with a whimsical story about a Valentine's surprise for his girlfriend. The way he spoke, with fervor and a hint of mania, left me unsettled. He pivoted almost immediately into a bizarre religious spiel about honoring your partner, but there was something laced with something dark and deviant. I forced a smile and handed him the key to room 12, trying to shake the chill creeping down my spine. A few hours later, I heard the back door creak open, felt the hairs on my arms stand on end. For a fleeting moment, I dismissed it as the wind. But then came the whimpering, a sound completely out of place in the small hotel. A puppy, I thought. It was well known that the establishment was a pet-free zone, but I allowed myself a fleeting moment of false hope, convincing myself that maybe another guest had made an exception. Moments later, a thud echoed down the hall, followed by whimpering that spun into desperate cries. I knocked on the door to room 12, but was met by silence. Sensing something terribly amiss, I knocked again. The door swung open with the knock, revealing the thin man in bell-bottoms, now veiled in the shadows of the door, standing sinister over something bloody. Before I could react, a figure bolted from the room. It was his girlfriend, her appearance like something from a nightmare, bloody, screaming, and trembling. She flung herself behind me as if I were a shield against the monster she had just escaped. The man snarled, eyes burning with madness as he slammed the door and barricaded it shut. "What happened?" I asked, desperation creeping into my voice. The woman clutched my arm, her sobs spilling over like a broken dam. He got me," she gasped, grabbing her gut, her voice cracking. "Please, you have to help me." I turned to use the lobby phone on in the back lobby. It was the only phone we had back then. I dialed emergency service for her, but when I turned back around to describe her injuries to them, she was gone. Moments later, police arrived. They coaxed the man out with calm authority, and as he stepped through the doorway, my pulse quickened. His eyes scanned the room and locked onto mine, an instant recognition flashing between us. The ensuing chaos blurred into a haze of red and blue lights. I stood from a distance while they discussed that the girl had disappeared. The bell-bottomed man claimed she was on acid and ran out of the room in a screaming fit. There was no knife in the room, no blood, no weapon. Hours later, I found myself being questioned about why I had gone in room 12 with a man I didn't know, and was I okay? I explained to them that it wasn't me. Another woman had run from the room, but she had disappeared when I turned my back, running off into the fog. There were no video cameras back then, so I had nothing to show them who went in the room. The police released the strange man, and he was suddenly gone to me. The police were gone too. Everyone left, and I was alone in the aftermath. The eerie silence settled over the hotel like a thick fog, and my mind felt feverish. I locked up the lobby and fetched cleaning supplies and headed to room 12, my hands trembling on the doorknob. Inside, the aftermath of violence painted the walls, splatters of blood, remnants of a horror that had unspooled just hours prior. I scrubbed feverishly, each stroke dragging me deeper into a pit of despair, as memories replayed like a horrifying film reel looping in my mind. The girl's cries echoed, and I wondered how I could have let this happen under my watch. As I scrubbed, time distorted, minutes stretched into hours, the weight of the night pressed down like the oppressive air before a storm. I was trapped in a moment I couldn't escape, and the feeling gnawed at me, a visceral dread that something unseen was still lurking in that desolate hotel. Then I suddenly collapsed on the bed, realizing I was tripping on LSD. The thin man in the bell-bottom had passed me acid on the candy. I curled up in a ball, wondering why he would do that. I did long breathing in and out. I was glad I had signed up for that yoga class at the local YMCA. Part of me thought maybe none of it was real. I started to look up schizophrenia,